remarks and 2 minutes per each question. Please refer to the timekeeper and do your best to transition to the next candidate when someone else's time is up. We will start at 5 and wrap, we will start at 6-ish and wrap up around 6:45. Okay, perfect. Please tell us a little about yourself and why you're running.
I'm Jim Gray. I am running for the trustee seat, Zone 4. I'm a Texan by birth. People have issues with that, but that's okay. I moved to Moscow in 2004, and we got married. My wife, I lived in Missouri at the time. My wife lived here. She didn't want to move to Missouri because she thought it was misery as opposed to Missouri, so that's a counselor for you. That's a profession. But anyway, we are a blended family. We have 12 kids between us. We have 19 grandkids, and we have one grandson who's homeschooled because he has emotional problems. I'm retired out of the Coast Guard, and after I retired out of the Coast Guard, I went to Missouri Western and received a teaching certificate. Taught high school in Missouri, I taught high school for troubled teens. That's the first one I worked with. Then I worked in a regular high school, and my wife Kathy,
Hi, I'm Donna Fazio, and I'm running for Zone 4. I lived in Moscow a long time, came after I got a degree in another town, but decided to get a teaching certificate when I came here and earned that at the University of Idaho. So it feels like home being on campus. I taught at McDonald Elementary School here in town for several years, and after our children were born, I decided to stay home and had the opportunity to run a business. So I've been running a business for several decades. I've been on the school board for a long time, and I would like to continue on the school board. I think we have a great team in the membership that we have, and I believe that the continuity of that team is a benefit to our student achievement. We have a new superintendent that we just hired, and I'm really excited to work with him. He's a dynamic individual.
For the next question, it is, what are you hoping to accomplish if elected?
Well, for one, there's a plethora of things I'd like to get done. Initially, it would be a curriculum associated with the high school, because many high schools across the country are treating their the seniors and juniors as they did when they were elementary school kids, and they need more autonomy in their ending years of high school, and also they need to have more experience as to how the world actually works. Because many of our youngsters are clueless about how to apply for a job, how to what is expected of them from an employer, and another thing is the standardized testing. Standardized testing it's just one gamut, a very narrow gamut of what the youngsters are dealing with. They need to have a broader range of instruction, not just the idea of being taught to a test. And that's one of the reasons why the curriculum, in my opinion, needs to change. And the one size fits all does not work, because we have youngsters who have different learning styles, and we need to, it sounds like I'm putting down teachers, but I'm not. Teachers need to be more involved with how to individually interact with the youngsters so that they can become all they can be, as the statement goes.
As a school board member, I am a member of a team of 5, or actually 6, with the superintendent. And so we work together. And I would like to continue, as I said, with the team that we're working on, or that we work with. One of the things that we'll continue to work on is more continuing education, or career education. And everybody knows that facilities are a big issue in town, and so we hope to work to hopefully build a new high school someday, and possibly a new elementary school. But that will be a team effort, and the community will be very involved in that effort also. One of the things that we're having trouble with right now is getting enough bus drivers. And so if any of you are interested in driving a bus, their openings are there, and we will even pay for your training. We also need paraprofessionals, and we're trying everywhere we can to attract more people who can work in our classrooms. And again, if you have a few hours in a part-time job, there are openings. I guess that is.
Thank you, guys. This has been a hot topic recently. What are your stance on banning books in K-12 classrooms and in our libraries?
I don't know. Okay.
It doesn't too long, so.
I know this is a hot issue, but we have policies that guide the district in this. One of our most important is called the Library Bill of Rights. And it says that the only thing that we cannot have in our libraries is obscene materials and materials that advocate the overthrow of the government. And I think the problem comes with the definition of obscene. I think some people, well, it's obviously pornographic, and so those materials are not allowed. Our librarians are trained individuals, they're professionals, and they are well trained in the selection of materials. I think the problem comes when patrons are uncomfortable with certain materials that are allowed in the libraries. And that's part of education, is being exposed to uncomfortable things. And it's up to the parents to decide what their children should or should not be exposed to. They can approach the school district and let the librarians know that their child is not allowed to, or they don't want their child checking out certain materials. So there is that avenue. We also have a policy where materials can be removed from the library. You have to fill out a form indicating your disagreement with the materials. A committee is formed, and they review the materials and come up with an action plan. And if the patron is not happy with that, they can bring the results to the board, and the board will review that. And in all the time that I have been on the board, I have not had that happen.
To start off with, a library, so what it was created to provide, basically in high school, provide for the collection of books, digital resources, and other materials to support students' academic and personal needs, and also to promote literacy and reading. Now, reading is a problem in the country, but the thing that I have an issue with would be, like you said, pornographic material in the libraries. And I was listening to a program, and this 11-year-old boy at a school board meeting, and he was reading a book out of the elementary school libraries. He was 11 years old, and some of the things that some of the words he was using out of the book he was reading out of, military people, you hear a lot of interesting things, and there's really some vulgar things, and he was reading out of that book, and they were really vulgar, and the body let him read. And the father got up after that and asked why was that book allowed in the elementary school. No one had an answer. We need to just be more involved, more out there for the youngsters as well as the community to let them know that we care for their well-being. Pornographic material being given to a minor has been illegal in this country since probably about the mid-50s. So that is nothing really new. The thing is identifying it. What is pornography? Is art pornography? It would depend on circumstances. Thank you very much.
The next question is, do students have a role to play in the school board, and how will you encourage engagement?
Well, yes. I think students have a role in contacting the school board to discuss whatever. They can't make a decision as an entity, but you can listen, be an attentive listener to what their complaints are. Now, there was an issue in Boise, I'm sure most of you are aware of that, where this high school student was talking with someone from the school board, and this person from the school board got with the principal, and the young man, young high schooler was chastised. And what did this young man do? He ran the school board, and he won. You all know about this. We have to listen to our students, especially the high school students, because they get stressed out because of the grading system that we have. And they need more, we need to give them more time. We need to allow them to be more, I know she is allowed to be outspoken in the school board meetings, because the last meeting we had was at Lena Whitmore here in town, and there were some of the youngsters who were part of that school giving tours to us as to what was going on in the school system there.
Yeah, as Jim said, we're starting a series of school board meetings going around to the different schools, and part of that, at our last meeting anyway, was student presentation. And so that's one way that they can be involved in, by moving around to the different buildings. We get to the feel of the different buildings, and I think the students feel more welcome to be part of our board meetings, so that's good. A couple of our board members are what's called Moscow mentors. They come into the schools once a week, and they work with students, and one of our board members has been doing this for 13 years, I believe, and so his student will soon graduate, and then he will work with another one. That's another way that students can be involved in the schools is be a Moscow mentor. And you work with one student, I think it's 1 hour every week. Students are involved also through their parents. Many of the students have their parents teaching in the district, and then they can interact with school board that way. But we're always open to new ideas. I think students being in the classroom and in the schools have a bird's eye view actually of what's going on and can be very helpful. When we're starting our facilities discussions in the community, I hope that they will feel that they can become involved and help to make school buildings that will be more conducive to their enjoyment of education.
So this is a question from the audience. It says, in the past 10 years, Moscow School District has received and spent tens of thousands of dollars on mastery-based learning programs. In 2019, students and families marched in a protest at the district office against these policies. Why was mastery-based learning a failure? And do you intend to pursue this in the future?
Very interesting question. I believe in mastery-based education. It involves students having a say in what they're learning, and it involves teachers setting out a step-by-step process of education. And education should be a step-by-step process. And I think the way that it failed was we received funding from the state as one of the first schools in the district to do this. And it felt from the teaching point of view and probably from the community point of view that it was being shoved. And it should have been more of a group decision and a group process of how we were going to begin that type of education. I think there are teachers in our schools who use that, and the parents of those students in those classes are very happy with it. And I've heard of teachers speaking about this, and parents and students. So it can be successful. I think it's a positive way to learn, and I hope that we can get back to that discussion at some point and have it be successful, because I think it's very positive for students.
Mastery-based education, for the most part, you're overworking the teachers. You know, when you have to do the things that mastery requires. If the youngster does not successfully pass a course, then he or she has to go back and start all over again with the teacher, and the teacher has to take time out of the class to assist this child or other children that she is working with to master this particular subject. Now, I believe that that they should be masters in the subject, but not necessarily master-based education as it is written. That would have to change, because the idea of, like I said earlier, one size does not fit all. The kids you need to have a broad-based education for all of our kids, especially starting with the elementary school kids. They need more exercise. I don't care, I've substituted here in Moscow, Troy, and Genesee since 2004. And the youngsters, they need to get out and do what they do as kids, play. So they'll learn how, they learn so much by interacting with each other and to play on the grounds. Was that it?
You still got 20 seconds.
20 seconds, I thought that was, okay, anyway. The youngsters, they need to get out more. And that's why the curriculum needs to change, so that the youngsters can get out, play more, and enjoy each other's company, and also enjoy the out of doors, playing sports and the like, so they get to do things together.
Okay, the next question is, what is the number one issue Moscow Public Schools are facing, and what will you do to address it?
Well, we know that one of the number one issues in the district are the buildings. The high school need to be replaced. Russell Elementary School needs to be replaced. And Russell in and of itself, in my estimation, is a danger to the kids. And we need to get an engineer in there to verify if that's accurate or not. Because if something happens, for whether the situation happens and kids are in there, it's the city, school board is gonna be liable for many things. So how you get the new buildings, in my opinion, yeah, there are bonds, but people are not up for taxes right now. Barely can make ends meet. So my thing would be to go to entrepreneurs, write for grants. And people have said, well, that may not work. Will it work for Lewiston? They just gotta do high school, so it can work for us. They passed a bond, but they also got grants out there. Because we talked to the superintendent this past weekend, and part of that was grants.
Yeah, I think it is a facilities issue. That's our biggest issue. And we've tried various times in the past to address this. I won't go into that, but I think looking forward, we need community involvement. And the first part of that is going to be our school board meetings, going from place to place. An hour before each meeting, we're going to have a tour of the buildings. Like when we're in the high school, we'll have a tour of the high school. And the community's invited, anybody who would like to join us for that hour is invited. There will be also a presentation by the principal of the school, and they will most likely go into more of the issues that are specific to that school. I think along with that, we need to set up a community committee from representation from all over the community, including district, board, staff, and community members from all different organizations. And that committee should drive the process. They should study the issues, decide what needs to be done, set up a system of how we can be successful, which is what Lewiston did, and go out into the community, meeting with groups and indicate why we need a new building, what it will cost, how we're going to pay for it, answer the questions that the community has, and move forward. It needs to be a community effort. It will be led by the board and the district with information. The district itself cannot be involved in the selling of a new building, but we can provide information.
Thank you guys. We have one more audience question, and it says, should the school board be a political position? Don, we're going to start with you.
Very interesting. I saw an opinion piece in the paper last week that said, who's better at fixing potholes, Democrats or Republicans? Well, you still have to get out there and fill the hole. It doesn't matter whether you're Democrat or Republican. You fill it the same way. And I think schools are the same way. We lead the district in policy. We go to Boise and advocate for the things that our school district needs. We learn when we go to the Idaho School Boards Association meeting each year, the issues that are involved. I lost my train of thought. Oh, political, yes. I do not think that this should be a political position. I have felt like I have represented Moscow community for many, many years, and this is the first year that I have been forced, I guess, to think of it as a political position, and I still do not think it should be a political position.
To start off with, my answer is it shouldn't be a political decision, because politics is what's gotten it all messed up in the first place. Back in the day when they were pushing this No Kid Left Behind, it was a complete failure. And anytime someone miles away tried to impact upon a local community, it doesn't work. We know more about what's going on in our community, we know more about what's going on with our youngsters. So politics shouldn't be involved in it at all. It should be the community, parents, the board, and teachers and students. That's how it should operate. Not, yeah, we get, I guess, 45% of the monies from the from levies, and we get another 45 from the percent or so from the state, and we get about 10% or so from the federal government. We need to be more autonomous ourselves, or we don't depend on the government so much. I was an EEO counselor when I was in the military. I went to various places when there were issues with the leadership and the enlisted people. And so my role was to find a middle ground for the two entities so that it would not cause a more difficult problem. And they had me going East Coast, West Coast, all over the place to accomplish that end. And believe me, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, because you have things out there. Oh, is that it?
Still got 18 seconds.
The issue that I found in a lot of cases, especially back in the day, was the idea of the black against the white, Hispanics against blacks, and so forth. That's basically what a lot of it was. They need to know that we all are the same, and you need to put that forth so that they will incorporate that into their own being.
Okay, the next question is, who are your primary constituents, the parents or the students?
My number one concern would be the students, primarily because they're the one that's going through the mess that they're going through right now. And it needs to be dealt with, needs to be addressed and overcome. And we need to listen more to the students. Like I said earlier, be more attentive, be more empathetic to what's going on in their mind. Yeah, of course they're not complete adults yet, but I know people who are age-wise adults and are still teenagers, so to speak. Do we need to bring the community in on it? Yes. The community needs to be part of the whole of readjusting the system locally. The community, the parents, the students, and the teachers. All of those have a role to play in bringing about the changes that is necessary. And just like with this school building situation, you get the city. I mean, not the city, but you get the community, people from the community, people from the school board, and parents on the committee to figure out what is the best way to accomplish getting funds to, appropriating funds to build new buildings.
I think it's most directly students, because whenever we have a decision before the board, the students are what we think about, what is best for students. Of course, the parents have input into that, and we need to listen to what they think is best for students, but I think that's the primary job of the school board, is to advocate for students and to make decisions based on their benefit and their welfare.
Thank you, guys. We are now going to end with concluding remarks. You guys will each have 1 minute to say your concluding remarks. We'll start with Dawn.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. I am surprised and delighted to see both community members and students here. Education is a key to the democracy, and public education especially. I'd like to advocate especially for public education. Your being here shows that you're willing to be educated and to vote. I hope you will go vote. because that is the key to our democracy. Going to the polls. There's a district in northern Idaho that the people decided not to go to the polls for one reason or another, and the decision was made for them. So don't let other people make your decision. Please go vote. And if you would like information to advocate for my candidacy, I have some flyers that you can hand out by helping.
Like I said earlier, being married with 12 kids, and when the two of us, when we got married, she had 2 teenagers in the house, and I had 2 teenagers. And getting those teenagers to interact with each other was interesting, because my kids are obviously black, and her kids are obviously white. And so we had some dilemmas that we had to deal with, and we overcame the problem because we sat down and interacted with the kids, let them know what civility is and what we all are about. Now, when I went to university, and taught high school, I taught history, government, and economics. Those are the things I was certified in. And what I find is, I'm not picking on you, Greg, is a lot of history, the kids do not know our history. And to me, that's appalling. Thank you.
I would just like to thank everyone for coming tonight and listening to our forum. I would like to thank our school board candidates and then also our city council candidates. It has been wonderful, and we had a decent turnout, and that is amazing. So that is our conclusion of our forum. Thank you.